Welcome, everyone. For those of you who have been with me before, you're familiar. If you're new to my class, welcome. We are going to get started lying down today. So go ahead and lie back on your mat. If your back is not feeling good today, maybe try lying on your side, or your knees could be bent, or you could be sitting even. I'm wrestling with my computer right now. I'm trying to get the screen out of the way. So go ahead and settle in, take a few breaths while I am figuring this out. And then as you start to settle in, I want you to start to think about what you want to get out of your practice today. So you're here for a reason. If there was no reason, you probably wouldn't be here. And so I want you to think about what that reason is today so that you can really focus on it and get the most out of it. So maybe you're here because you need to relax a little bit. You're a little stressed. You need to take a couple breaths. So that's why you're here. Maybe you're here because you need to stretch. You're feeling tight. You're feeling like you need some exercise. Maybe it's more for your mind. Maybe you know that spending this hour just kind of slowing down and taking care of yourself really puts you in a good headspace for the rest of the weekend. So whatever the reason is, whatever brought you here today, start to think about that so that as you move through this class, you can make sure that you're getting out of it what it is that you came here to get out of it. So maybe your intention is going to have something to do with that reason you're here. So maybe your intention is to slow down. So throughout the class, you're going to think about slowing down or letting go of some distraction that you've been thinking of. Maybe you have something coming up this weekend or next week that's on your mind, or maybe something happened last week that's kind of still weighing heavily on you, and you're going to work on not thinking about that for the next hour, and you're just going to push pause on that. You can come back to it later, but for the next hour, you're just gonna breathe and stretch. Start your weekend off in a really good way. So once you take another breath and set that intention, we're going to start to make our way into a full body stretch. So you're going to begin to extend those legs if they were bent. You're going to start to reach your arms overhead. You can kind of wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, and just kind of stretch it all out. Maybe a little side to side movement, a little wrist and ankle roll. And then we're going to start to bring those knees in towards the body. So the knees start to draw in, the arms wrap around the shins. Your spine is pressing down into the mat. So feel that connection. And then maybe you move a little bit. You can rock the knees from side to side. You can circle the knees. Kind of massaging the back of the spine and starting to warm up the body a little bit. We're going to come right to a seated position. So your hands can come behind your thighs, your chin tucks into your chest as you start to rock yourself all the way up to a seated position. Maybe a couple little forward and backward rocks until you find that seat on your mat. Your legs can cross, your hands can rest in your lap or on your knees, and just take a moment to sit up really nice and tall. So you can do that by sort of rocking side to side on your tailbone, sort of grounding down a little bit, and begin to lengthen the spine. So notice where you were when you first sat up. Sometimes we're leaning forward, sometimes our shoulders are a little bit rounded, and then all of a sudden you start to actively sit up taller and you're like, wow, I just grew an inch. So see if you can give yourself that extra inch here, sitting up nice and tall. The shoulders are relaxed down and back. And then we're just going to bring those shoulders up towards the ears, and as you exhale, release them back. We'll do that a couple more times, beginning to roll out those shoulders. Really moving them in any way that you like. So I usually do a couple forward and then a couple backwards. You can also sort of involve your hands if it feels good to kind of massage the shoulders and upper back. And then on the last one, we're going to draw the shoulders all the way up and hold them for a moment. It's almost like you're trying to bring those shoulders to the ears, create a little tightness, a little tension. Big inhale. And then as you exhale, let it go. Good. We're going to do the same thing with our necks. So bringing your chin to your chest, creating some length in the back of the neck. The spine is still long, and then your head is leaning forward. And then you'll slowly start to roll your head all the way around, taking a couple rounds of neck rolls or maybe side to side movement with the neck, whatever helps you start to get into those shoulders, upper back and neck and sort of relax all that tightness, all that tension, dissolving some of it away. And then once you've taken a couple of rounds in both directions, you'll start to come back through center, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take the right hand, bring it to the side of you. You're going to take your left hand, kind of press it into the right shoulder, or I'm sorry, right, this is your knee, not your shoulder. So you're kind of twisting here. So you're twisting over the right shoulder, pressing that left hand into the right knee, kind of using that connection of the hand and the knee, sort of deepen that twist a little bit as you look over the right shoulder. See if you can sit up a little taller. And then you're going to keep your right hand behind you. You're going to move the left hand to the right knee. So the left hand is coming to the opposite knee now. And again, just press that left hand into the knee, continuing to twist to the right. You might feel your spine crack or twist a little bit. You can kind of decide which knee feels better. If you like it on the left, you can keep it there. If it felt better on the right, maybe you bring it back to the right. And then we're going to come back through center and do the same thing to the other side. So your left hand is coming to the side of the body. The right hand started on the left knee. Take a deep breath in, sit up tall, and then start to twist to the left, pressing that right hand into the left knee, looking over the left shoulder. And then you can switch that right hand to the right knee. Press into that right knee. You might get a deeper stretch on this one, or maybe it felt better on the other side. So again, you decide which one feels better for you. Just get that nice twist in the spine. And then as you come back through center, take a deep breath in, reach those arms up overhead. And as you exhale, fold it forward. Walk the hands away from the body. Big, deep inhale in to lengthen the spine. Big exhale to fold. You can stay still here if this feels good, or maybe you're moving a little bit, walking the hands to one side, walking the hands over to the other side. Just take about 3 or 4 more breaths here, lengthening through the back of the body as you inhale. As you exhale, fold. And then slowly starting to walk those hands back towards you. Come all the way back up to your seated position. Bring the soles of the feet together, coming into your butterfly position. Interlace your hands around your toes. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, start to fold it forward. Pressing your elbows into your shins. Think about bringing your chest towards your toes. And on the next inhale, lift it all the way back up. Extend that right leg. Left foot comes into the right inner thigh. Flex those right toes. Reach those arms up overhead as you breathe in. On the exhale, you'll fold it forward. And then just do whatever feels good for that leg. So I know I always point out the difference between the morning class and an evening class. It's morning time. So that leg might need a little extra love to start to warm up. So do whatever it needs. Bend the knee. Massage the back of the leg if you feel the calf or the hamstring is a little bit tight. Maybe just focus on that breath. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, folding. Doing that a couple more times. And then on the next inhale, we'll slowly start to lift it all the way back up. The left leg extends as you bring the right foot into the left inner thigh. Flex those butt toes. Take a deep breath in as you reach the arms up. And then again, as you exhale, fold it forward. Give that left leg a little love, just like you did on the right side, whatever it needs. A bend in the knee, a little massage, even a strap around the foot. If you have a strap at home, a string, a rope, a tie, whatever, you like to use that strap to kind of draw yourself towards the leg. That's an option as well. On the next inhale, we'll lift all the way back up. Extend both legs long. You kind of tap the backs of your legs out a little bit. Then we're going to bend our knees. So your feet are on the mat, your knees are bent, your spine is nice and straight. It's going to stay straight. We're going to lean back in a moment, but rather than rounding the back and leaning back, think about keeping that spine straight as it goes back. going to do a little core exercise here. You're going to lift your legs up so that the calves are parallel to the ground. Spine is still straight even though you're leaning back. You have the option to keep your hands behind your thighs, kind of support them, or go unsupported, extend your arms out long. That'll be a little more challenging. So you decide. But we're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On one, go ahead and put your feet down. Fold over your legs. So kind of just give yourself a little hug. Bring your hands around your shins. Bring your head to your knees. Kind of fold over. Should feel good on the back. And we're going to do that one more time. So after you take a breath, go ahead and sit up straight again, lengthen that spine, prepare yourself. And then when you're ready, spine goes back, almost like a seesaw. The back of the body back and the upper or the lower half starts to lift up. Legs are parallel. Extend those arms or keep them supporting the legs for 10, 9. Your core is engaged, so your belly button is drawn towards your spine. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On one, go ahead and bring your feet back to the mat one more time. Kind of give yourself that little hug as you fold over your legs. And then as you lift back up, we're going to start to find our tabletop position. So go ahead and bring your hands to the mat, bring your knees behind you, and just start to set up to move through a couple rounds of your cat and cow. So you're starting with that flat back, your wrists are below your shoulders, your knees are below your hips. As you inhale, press the spine, or press the stomach down, really. Take your gaze up towards the sky. As you exhale, round the back, press the ground away from you. And just start to move through a couple of rounds just like that. So warming up that spine, connecting the breath to the movement, and then also adding on anything that feels good. So moving your head from side to side is an option. Moving your hips from side to side, even kind of pressing back to a child's pose and pressing forward, stretching out the spine. Whatever feels good for the back of the body, do that. Try to connect it with the breath. That's the whole idea here, that as we move with the breath. And then as you finish the round that you're on, we're going to start to make our way into our first downward facing dog. So your toes are going to tuck, your legs are going to straighten, your hips press up and back as you start to settle into your downward facing dog. So by settle in, I mean move a little bit, lift your feet up off the mat or your heels and then press them back down. Bend your knees and then straighten them a little bit. You can rock your hips from side to side, shake your head yes and no. All those little movements help you start to settle in. Your hips are pressing up and back. Your heels are pressing down towards the mat. We're just going to take about 2 or 3 more breaths here. And I recognize that the sun is making the screen really shadowy. So if you have any questions about anything we do today and you were kind of confused or stuck, ask me at the end. I want to make sure you're not confused. So don't hesitate to ask. For now, we're going to take our gaze towards our hands. Start to walk your feet to the top of the mat, coming to a forward fold. Your feet are going to be about 2 or 3 fists apart. And then you're just going to hold on to opposite elbows and just let that upper body become heavy here. Relax the shoulders, put a little bend in your knees, and maybe you'll rock from side to side. Let that head be heavy. On the next inhale, we're going to slowly start to lift it all the way up to reach those arms up overhead, a little back bend as you take your gaze up towards the sky. As you exhale, we're going to do a different fold. We're going to fold halfway. So you're going to fold forward, almost like your stomach is parallel to the ground. So a 90-degree angle from your legs to your stomach. Your arms are going to extend out to either side. So the shoulders are relaxed. You're kind of looking straight down at your mat or at your feet. As you inhale, you're going to lift all the way up again. As you exhale, we're going to do that again. Halfway fold, 90 degrees. Arms extend so your shoulders are activated, your core is activated. You can get a little bend in your knees if that helps you get into this position. Inhale, lift it up, reach those arms overhead. We'll do that one more time as you exhale, halfway, 90 degrees. So you're kind of hinging at those hips, reaching those arms out to either side of you. As you inhale, lift it up. This time as you exhale, fold it all the way forward. That should feel really good. Just kind of let it all go. Taking any forward fold that feels good this time. So you don't have to hold on to those elbows. You can have your hands behind your head. You can have your hands behind your legs, wherever they feel most comfortable. Just kind of let it all out, shake it all out. And one more time, we'll inhale, lift it up, reach the arms up overhead. This time, interlace your hands, press the palms up towards the sky. Relax the shoulders, take a big breath in. You're going to lean over to the left side so that you're stretching the whole right side of the body, pressing the hands to the left, pressing the hips to the right. Looking under that right arm. And then as you inhale, lift it back up. As you exhale, take it over to the right. Roll that left shoulder open. Look under that left arm. Again, inhale, lift it all the way up to center. This time, as you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. We're going to put a little bend in our knees so that you can bring your hands to the mat and then start to step those feet back to your downward facing dog. Coming back to your down dog. Take another breath or two. Take a chance to kind of move a little bit. Then we're all going to roll it out into a plank position. Draw your shoulders over your wrists. Tuck your tailbone. Engage your core. Strong plank here for 2 more breaths. And then as you exhale, send it back to your downward facing dog. So you're pressing those hips back. We're going to do that 2 more times. Roll it forward into a plank. Tuck the tailbone, engage the core. Exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. One last time, roll it out, plank position. Exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Good. Great, we're actually going to come back to that plank one more time, just for a transition. So go ahead and find your plank again. This time you can bring the knees to the mat. So your knees are coming down. You're going to lower yourself all the way down onto your stomach, hugging your elbows in towards you as you come onto your stomach. And then lift it up into a baby cobra. So the upper body lifts, your hands are lifting up off the mat an inch or 2. So kind of lifting up your shoulders, your chest, your head. And then you're going to press your hands back into the mat and find a child's pose. So lift those hips up and back. Your toes are together, your knees are apart. Go ahead and start to settle into that child's pose. Your fingertips can stay towards the top of the mat, or you can have your hands on top of each other, kind of resting your forehead on your hands, or bring those fingertips to the sides of the body. You're going to take about 3 or 4 breaths here. So go ahead and breathe into that child's pose, coming back to that intention that you set. Coming back to the reason that you came here today. Few more breaths. And then if your feet or your hands are not already at the top of the mat, go ahead and start to walk them back towards the top of the mat. We're going to come back to our downward facing dog. So tucking your toes, straightening your legs, bending those hips up and back as you make your way back into your downward facing dog. And again, maybe you move here a little bit. Maybe you pedal out those feet. Maybe you're feeling comfortable now. You don't really need to move. So you're starting to find some stillness. Either way, do whatever you feel like you need to do at this point. We're going to take our gaze towards our hands. Go ahead and walk those feet back to the You're going to take that little halfway lift. So bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, flat back. So kind of like where we were before with our arms extended out to the side, except your hands can just be on your shins now. Inhale, flat back. Exhale as you fold a little deeper. As you inhale, lift all the way up. Reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. Good. So we're at the top of our mat. We're going to step the left foot all the way back to the back of our mat. We're setting up for our warrior one. So your back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Your hips are facing the front of your mat. As you inhale, your arms are going to lift up overhead. As you exhale, you're going to bend into that right knee. Relax those shoulders. Start to settle into your warrior one. So think about pressing both hips forward. See if you can come a little lower into that right knee. You reach those arms up and overhead. A few more breaths here. And then we're going to straighten that right leg. Turn the right toes to face the side of your mat. So you're facing the left side of your mat now. Big inhale in. As you exhale, fold forward, wide-legged forward folds. Your left hand is going to come to the mat. So kind of right in front of your face, your left hand is there. We're going to twist by lifting that right arm up towards the sky. So looking towards that right hand, roll that right shoulder open and back. And then we'll switch sides. Your right hand comes down to the mat. The left arm starts to lift up towards the sky. Roll that left shoulder open as you look towards that left hand. And then gently bringing that left hand back to the mat. We'll bring both hands to our thighs and just gently press yourself all the way back up. Kind of walk your feet together until you're back in your standing position. Find your way back to the top of the mat. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. So the left foot is going to be the front foot this time. Your right foot steps to the back of the mat as you set yourself up for your warrior one. Your hips are facing forward, 45-degree angle with that back foot. Inhale to lift the arms up. Exhale as you bend into that left knee. Shoulders relax. Knee comes a little deeper. Hips sink a little lower as you lengthen through the upper body. About 2 or 3 more breaths here. And then that left arm is going to, or left leg is going to straighten. We're going to turn the left toes to face the side of your mat. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale one more time, wide-legged fold. This time taking any fold that feels comfortable. So if you like that little twist we did on the other side, you can do that again. Or if there's another move that you like, maybe you hold on to opposite elbows and just kind of hang here. Walk your hands from one leg to the other. Whatever feels comfortable at this point. Just go ahead and take a few breaths. Move it out. And then again, we'll start to walk our hands back towards our thighs. As you press yourself back up, go ahead and walk those feet back together. Shake it out a little bit, let it go. Make your way back to the top of your mat. Inhale as those arms lift up. Exhale as you fold it forward. Put a little bend in your knees, bring your hands to the mat. Step those feet back to your plank position. So your feet are stepping to the back of your mat, your core is engaged. Again, we'll come right down onto those knees, and then you'll lower yourself all the way onto your stomach. This time you choose, if you want to lift up a little higher in that cobra, you can press your hands into the mat. If you like that lower cobra, stay low. Stay wherever it is that it feels comfortable to you. If you can get that nice deep stretch at the back, whatever that means to you. So you might feel a deep stretch when you have those hands lifted, or maybe you press your hands into the mat and lift it up a little higher. And then we're all going to lower ourselves back down and make our way back to our downward facing dog. So your hands press into the mat, hips go up and back, toes tuck, legs straighten, downward facing dog for a breath. Take your gaze towards your hands and then start to walk those feet back to the top of the mat. Hands come to shins as you inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale as you lift all the way up, reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Great. Let's do a balance here. Let's do a tree pose. So we're going to have our left foot as our standing foot. Your right foot is going to come to the inner ankle of that left foot. Hands are at heart center. That right foot can stay there at the inner ankle, or you can start to lift it up a little more. So you kind of decide where it is that you want to have that foot. Be sure that you're above or below your knee so that you're not pressing into that knee. Once you have the shape of your legs that you want, you can decide where your hands are going. They can stay at heart center. They can lift up overhead. You can open up your arms. If you feel like you're swaying a lot, maybe having a chair nearby or a wall nearby to just kind of lean your hand on can help. Maybe you just tap your foot down and then pick it back up. Kind of find your balance. That's fine. 2 more breaths here. Being mindful that you are breathing. And then we're going to start bringing those hands back to heart center. That right foot can come down, kind of shake out the standing leg. Little fold if that feels good, kind of relieving some of that pressure in the lower back. And then as you come back to standing, we'll switch over to the other side. So your right foot is going to be your standing foot. Your left foot comes into that right inner ankle. So I always suggest starting like this because it's a kind of a good place to sort of get your balance. The left toes are touching the mat, but nothing else is. So you're balancing because you're on that right foot. Hands are at heart center. And then if this feels good, then you kind of like add on. You can start to slide that left foot up the leg a little bit if that feels like a plan. Sometimes it depends on the day. Sometimes it depends on which side of the body you're doing. You can all factor in. So go ahead and find whatever variation with your hands you like. If you want to lift them up overhead or open them up wide, use that wall if you want. 3 or 4 more breaths wherever you are. And then the hands will start to come back to heart center. Left foot starts to come back down to the mat. Shake out the standing leg. Take that little forward fold. Whatever feels good for you. Just kind of shake it out. If you stepped off of your mat, go ahead and find your way back to the top of your mat. We're going to take a breath. Reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Put a little bend in your knees so you can bring your hands to the mat. We're going to keep the right foot at the top and just step the left foot back. So you're coming into a low lunge. That left foot is at the back of your mat. The right foot is in front of you. And then that left knee is going to come down. So you can bring your left knee to the mat, untuck the left toes. So the top of that left foot is pressing into the mat. Still trying to get out of the sun, but it's not helping. Your left hand is going to ground down. We're going to twist here. So bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. Take your gaze towards that right hand. And go ahead and bring that right hand back down to the mat. We're going to come into our crescent lunge pose or Anjaneyasana. So your hands are either coming to that right knee or they're reaching up towards the sky. So if you feel like you're getting that stretch with the hips, the arms can reach up. If you feel like you're leaning back to push the arms up, bring your hands to your knees so that you can keep getting that stretch in the left hip. That's really what we want to work on here, is pressing that left hip down towards the mat. And then you can slowly start to bring your hands back to frame out that right foot. We're going to tuck the back toes, straighten that left leg, coming back to that low lunge or that runner's lunge. And then we're going to step it back up to a forward fold. So maybe it's one giant step, maybe it's a couple smaller steps, however you need to get that left foot back up to meet the right. Hands come to shins as you take a halfway lift. Exhale as you fold, put a little bend in your knees. And then the right foot is stepping back. So we're going to leave the left foot at the top of the mat. Long runner's lunge with that left leg in front. And then the right knee can come down, untuck those toes. Right hand comes to the mat next to the left foot. And then the left arm lifts up. So again, we're twisting here. Take your gaze towards that left hand. Rolling back through that left shoulder. And then bringing that left hand back down to the mat as we start to come into our Anjaneyasana by bringing your hands to your knee. Sometimes it can help to come to your knee first and then sort of testing it out. And if it feels comfortable, bring your hands up towards the sky. You decide where you are going with that. Either stick with the knee if that gives you the deepest stretch, or take a breath or two with your hands on your knee and then start to reach them up. And then we'll all start to bring our hands back to frame out that left foot. Tuck the right toes, straighten that back leg. And again, we're coming back to our forward fold. So one giant step or a couple steps, however you want to get that right foot back next to the left. Halfway lift once you get there, hands come to shins, flat back. Exhale as you fold. On the next inhale, lift it all the way up, reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, dive it all the way down, forward fold. This time, bringing the hands to the mat, we're going to step it back to our plank position. Go ahead and step those feet to the back of the mat. Find your plank, engage that core. Knees come down as you lower yourself all the way onto your stomach. So think about hugging those elbows in. Think about going really nice and slow. It's like a reverse push-up. You're getting an arm workout just by lowering yourself down slowly. And then find whatever cobra you like. Press those hands into the mat as you press the upper body up, or lift up without the hands for that baby cobra. And then find your way back to your child pose. Press the hands into the mat, toes together, knees apart. Just 2 or 3 breaths here. Kind of reset. And then we'll make our way back to downward facing dog. So your toes will tuck, your legs will straighten, those hips go up and back. Take your gaze towards your hands as you start to walk those feet back to the top of the mat. Halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhale as you fold. On the next inhale, lift it all the way up. Reach those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. We're going to bring our feet a little wider than hips distance apart. So if you're at the top of your mat, maybe it's about the length of the short side of your mat, maybe it's a little less. As you inhale, the arms are going to lift up overhead. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward, and you're going to put a little bend in your knees so that you can take your 2 little peace fingers, your pointer finger and your middle finger, and wrap them around your big toes. So bend your knees as much as you need to kind of get there. And then you're going to grip those big toes. Take a breath in as you lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, start to use that grip on the toes to draw the upper body closer to the mat. So you're kind of getting a deeper stretch at the back of the body because you can kind of pull those toes a little bit, if that makes sense. My knees are bent. I don't do this with straight legs. So don't hesitate to have a little bend in your knees. Elbows are bending behind you. And then you can go ahead and let go of those toes. We're going to bring the left hand to the mat in front of the left toes. Put a little bend in that left knee. And one more time, we're going to twist, lifting that right arm up towards the sky. Bending the left knee, reach the right fingertips up towards the sky. So we did this with a wider stance before. Now we're doing it a little bit more narrow. And then go ahead and bring that right hand in front of the right toes, put a little bend in the right knee, peel that left arm up towards the sky. Press the left shoulder back as you look towards that left hand. And then that left hand comes back down to the mat. On the next inhale, slowly start to lift it all the way up, reach those arms overhead. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. You can walk those feet back in so that you're not in that wider stance anymore. We're going to take another breath, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Put a little bend in your knees so that your hands come to the mat. Step it back to your plank position. We're going to take that flow one last time. So from your plank, knees come down, lower yourself all the way onto your stomach. Inhale as you press that upper body up. Exhale. This time we're just going to press it back to a tabletop position. So those hips can go back, knees can stay on the mat. Maybe readjust your alignment a little bit if you need to walk your hands in a little closer to you. And then just take a couple rounds of your cat and cow. So as you inhale, press the stomach down, take the knees up. As you exhale, round the back, press the ground away from you. And just move through that cat and cow. As you come back through center, we're going to extend that right leg long. Point the right foot behind you. Inhale, draw the right knee to the nose. So you're kind of rounding your back, giving that right knee a little kiss. Exhale, extend it long. Inhale, draw the right knee to the nose, round the back. Exhale, extend it long. One more time, right knee to nose, round that back. Exhale, extend it long. Pause here. And we're going to extend the left arm. So arm, opposite leg, reaching in opposite directions. Holding it for 2 more breaths. And then you can bring that left hand down, right knee down, shake out those hips a little bit. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. The left leg extends long. Take a breath in, draw the left knee to the nose. No hand just yet, so just rounding that back. Exhale, extend it long. 2 more times. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back. Exhale, extend it long. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back. Exhale, extend it long. Pausing here. We'll reach those right fingertips out in front of us. So engage the core. Left leg lengthens, right hand lengthens, reaching in opposite directions. And then go ahead and bring it all back to the mat. Hands come down, knee comes down. Shake out those hips a little bit. And we're going to come back to a seated position. So go ahead and start to lower yourself all the way down with your legs extended long in front of you. Grab a sip of water, grab whatever you might need as we start to take it down just a little bit. We're going to, let's come into a inclined plane, or it's kind of like a reverse plank. So your hands are coming to the sides of your body or slightly behind you. Your fingertips can be facing your body. Sit up nice and tall, puff up your chest, your heart. And then on an inhale, you're gonna press those hips up towards the sky. Point your toes down towards the mat. So you're lengthening the whole length of your body. You can stay like this, or you can let your head release behind you if that feels comfortable. It's not going to feel comfortable for everyone. So if it feels more comfortable to keep looking forward, that's fine. Work on pressing those hips up. And then slowly lower yourself down. We're going to bend those knees again, just like we did at the beginning with your feet on the mat. And just kind of fold over your legs. Give yourself a little hug. And then on the next inhale, sitting up, extend both legs long. Take your breath in as you reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale, fold it forward. Maybe you're still bending those knees a little bit. Maybe your hands are on your toes or your shins or the mat. Does not matter. Just find a spot that feels comfortable for you. As you inhale, start to lift it all the way back up. We're going to do our pigeon pose in a seated position today. So the right foot is coming to the left knee. So kind of like you're making it upside down figure four shape. You're bringing that right foot on top of the left knee, flex the left foot, flex the right foot. Hands are at the sides of your body. And then you're going to take that left foot, place it on the mat, and then just start to slide that left foot towards you or walk the hips towards the foot. Eventually, you're going to feel that deep stretch in your hips. So basically, you're just bringing that left leg closer and closer to you until you feel that stretch in your hip. And then that's where you'll want to pause and breathe. Think about keeping that length in the spine. So if you notice that your back is rounding, step the left foot a little bit further away from you so that you can keep that length in the back of the body. You can close your eyes here. Slow down your breath a little bit or deepen your breath. And then slowly letting that left leg come all the way back down onto the mat. Extend the right leg and kind of tap out the backs of the legs. And then the left foot is coming to that right knee. Both feet are flexed. Hands are at the sides of the body. And then the right foot comes to the mat. And same thing as we did on the other side. Start to see how close you want to bring that right foot to you, or how much you're going to scoop those hips towards the right hip. And it might actually not even be bending the knee at all. If you're getting a nice stretch with that right leg flat, that's fine. You can kind of press into the left knee with your hand and just keep that right leg flat. If you're not feeling it yet, then you're going to put the right foot on the mat and start to walk the right foot towards you or the hips towards the foot. And it's different for everyone, but eventually you'll start to feel that stretch in the hips. And that's the point that you want to get to, where you can feel it. And we'll all let that right leg extend, left leg extend, tap the backs of the legs on the mat a little bit as we shake out those feet. We're going to start to take it onto our back. So sitting up nice and tall, extend your arms long, and then one vertebrae at a time, you'll start to lower yourself all the way onto your mat. Take a big full body stretch once you get there. Arms reach up overhead. Roll out the wrists, roll out the ankles, big inhale. And then as you exhale, you can bring your hands to the sides of the body. You can bend your knees, bring your feet to the base of your spine. And we're going to come into our back bend or our bridge pose. So on the next inhale, the hips start to press up towards the sky. Your hands can continue to press into the mat, or you can start to shimmy your shoulders under you, interlacing your hands under your tailbone, pressing those hips up towards the sky as your chin tucks into your chest. We're going to do this 2 times. So you're going to hold this for about 2 or 3 more breaths. See if you can press those hips up just a little higher. And then slowly start to peel that spine back down onto the mat. Once your tailbone touches, your knees can kind of rock from side to side a little bit. And then we're going to do that same thing again. So go ahead and start to set yourself up for a second round. Hands come to the sides of the body. As you inhale, start to press those hips up towards the sky. Maybe the hands stay where they are, or maybe they interlace under. If your hands are interlacing under the body, see if you can scoot your shoulders a little closer to each other. That gives you just like a little extra inch of space. We're going to count about 3 more breaths here. And then slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time, go ahead and peel that spine back down onto the mat. Once your tailbone touches, your knees can start to rock from side to side. Imagine those little windshield wipers again. We'll start to find our inversion. So your feet are going to reach up towards the sky. Your hands are going to either come behind your legs, or you can sit on your hands so they're under your tailbone. You can also do this against the wall if you prefer. So you decide if you want to do this unsupported right where you are, Or if you want to slide over to a wall, extend those legs up the wall, that is fine too. It's a little more of a restorative version. We're going to hold this for about 7 breaths. So once you find that shape that feels comfortable for you, you can close your eyes, start to slow down that breath a little bit. And then slowly starting to draw those knees back in towards you, wrapping your arms around your shins as you give yourself a little hug. You can rock from side to side. You can circle the knees. You're massaging the back of the body a little bit. We're going to bring both feet to the mat so your knees are bent. And extend the right leg long and then start to lift that right leg up towards the sky. Bringing those hands behind the right leg. So your hands can either be interlaced behind the thigh or behind the calf. And just start to draw that right leg towards you. And just kind of doing whatever feels good. So you can roll out the ankle, you can bend and straighten the knee. You can kind of walk your hands up the back of the leg, lifting your head up, drawing your nose towards your knee. And then slowly placing your head back down on the mat, we're going to bring that right foot to the top of the left knee. So making a little triangle shape with your legs. Extend your arms wide to either side, and then just let your hips rock from side to side. You're kind of getting a little twist through the spine. Think about bringing your right knee closer to the ground and then your right foot closer to the ground and just sort of rocking back and forth there a couple times. And then as you come back to center, we're going to do one more hip stretch. So we just did it seated. We're going to do it on our backs now. Same stretch, but it kind of just gets you into it from a different angle. So you're going to lift up that left leg, interlace your hands behind the left thighs, flex through both feet as you draw that left leg towards you. So just like we did when we were sitting, you should start to feel that stretch in the right hip. You can take your right hand and even gently press that right knee away from you a little bit as you draw the left leg towards you. And then we'll go ahead and place that left foot down on the mat. Place the right foot down on the mat. Straighten out that left leg as you start to lift it up towards the sky. Bring your hands behind the left thigh. Same thing as you did on the right side. Massage the back of the leg. Bend and straighten the knee. Roll out the ankle. Maybe walking those hands up the back of the leg, drawing your nose towards your knee. And then as you place your head back down on the mat, the left foot is coming to the right knee. Extend those arms wide to either side as you start to rock your hips from side to side. And then coming back through center, the right leg is going to lift, flex through both feet as you interlace your hands behind that right thigh, drawing the right leg towards you to give yourself that little opening in the left hip. Left hand can come to the knee, gently press that knee away from you. And then the right foot comes down to the mat, the left foot comes down to the mat. We're going to draw those knees in towards the body one last time. This time the arms will extend out to either side in a T shape. And then your knees come over to the right. So just one final twist here, letting it be comfortable. So wherever your body wants to land in this twist, let yourself be there. Try to draw the left shoulder towards the mat so that you're deepening that opening in the upper body. You can look towards the left fingertips. That'll deepen the stretch as well. Or you can look up towards the ceiling if that feels more comfortable. You can also bring a hand to that top leg, kind of massaging the muscle, or even crossing one leg over the other. Just a bunch of options here. So I'm just kind of listing options. You can kind of play around and see what does or doesn't feel good for you. And then we'll start to draw those knees back through center as you take the knees to the left side. Maybe your knees turns towards the right, taking any of those variations that feel comfortable for you or feel like they're giving you the stretch that you need at this point in your practice. Maybe your eyes are starting to close. And slowly starting to bring those knees back through center. Your feet can be on the mat, your knees are bent. And I invite you to just take a moment now to check in with yourself and see if you were able to give yourself what it was that you needed out of this practice. And if you feel like there is anything more that you still need, go ahead and do those things now. If there's one more stretch, or if you need a sip of water or to put your socks on, whatever it is that you need so that you can feel really comfortable as you start to end your class, go ahead and do those things now. And then start to think about where you want to end your class. Maybe it's the exact same shape that you started in with your legs straight. Maybe you are coming onto your side or even keeping those knees bent if that felt comfortable to you. So just slowly start to settle into that final shape. Give yourself time. You don't need to rush there. Doing all the things that you need to do so that you can feel comfortable. And then eventually settling in, closing the eyes, deepening the breath, just beginning to melt into your mat, into whatever shape that you're in. Let the shoulders relax, let the back of the head relax, the jaw releases. Kind of imagine that you're sort of just melting there into the mat a little bit. And once you find that shape that feels really comfortable, allow yourself to just enjoy these next few moments here in Shavasana. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Starting to bring your awareness back to your body, to the room, to your mat. Really tiny movements of your fingers and your toes. So eventually getting a little bigger with those movements. The wrists, the ankles. And then stretching in any way that feels comfortable. So that could be another full body stretch. That could be drawing the knees in towards you one more time. It's going to depend on where you were in your Shavasana, what feels good now. You're still lying down. Go ahead and turn onto your side with the knees bent, resting your head on your arm. Just take these last few moments here on your mat to say thank you to yourself, first of all, for making this commitment to start your day by doing something that's really good for you and kind of setting that tone for your weekend. So that when you get up off your mat in a few moments and head out into the day and the weekend, you can feel really good about what you've done so far and feel like you're prepared for whatever it is you got going on next. So whenever you're ready, you can slowly start to make your way back up to a seated position, gently pressing yourself up, bringing those hands to heart center. I am so grateful, as always, for all of you joining me here virtually or watching the recording. I hope you have the most beautiful weekend ahead. Until I see you guys again, namaste.